Philip's death changed everything. As soon as Alexander ascended to the throne, his enemies believed that Macedon had lost its strength. To the north, the Thracian tribes began to rebel. To the south, Athens and Thebes dreamed of regaining their independence. To many, the Macedonian Empire would collapse before Alexander's reign had truly begun. But they had yet to meet the new king. The generals urged caution. Some argued they should wait. Others advised negotiation. But Alexander made a different decision. He would attack immediately. He would not give his enemies time to unite. Speed would become his greatest weapon. The army began its march. Mountains, rivers, forests. Nothing would stop Alexander. For days, his soldiers crossed terrain that very few armies had ever managed to traverse. The young king always marched at the front, sharing every hardship with his men. The northern tribes believed they held the advantage. They knew those mountains better than any invader. They prepared ambushes, blocked the mountain passes. They expected to stop the Macedonians. But Alexander did exactly the opposite of what they expected. He turned the terrain into his greatest advantage. When the Thracians sent massive wagons crashing down the mountain, they expected to crush the Macedonian phalanx. Alexander gave a surprising order. The soldiers opened corridors between their ranks. The wagons passed through without breaking the formation. Moments later, the phalanx advanced, and the victory was complete. But Alexander was not satisfied. Ahead of him lay the Danube River. No Macedonian king had ever crossed those waters to attack the northern tribes. During the night, his soldiers crossed the river in complete silence. At dawn, the enemy was caught completely by surprise. While Alexander was fighting in the north, a rumor began to spread across Greece. People claimed that Alexander had died. The news quickly reached Athens, and above all, Thebes. The Theban leaders believed this was the perfect moment to regain their freedom. The city expelled the Macedonian garrison. Messengers rode across Greece, inviting every city-state to join the rebellion. For a few days, it seemed as though all of Greece would return to war. But Alexander was still alive, and he was already marching back. The moment he learned of the revolt, Alexander did not waste a single moment. He covered hundreds of kilometers in just a few days. His speed astonished even his own soldiers. The Greeks simply could not believe it. When they looked toward the horizon, the Macedonian army was already standing before the walls of Thebes. Before launching the attack, Alexander made one final offer. If those responsible for the revolt were handed over, the city would be spared. The Thebans refused. They trusted that Athens would send help. That help never came. Then the attack began. The walls were breached. The phalanx advanced. The cavalry poured into the city. After hours of fighting, Thebes fell. The city was almost completely destroyed, a warning to all of Greece. No one would ever challenge Alexander again. After the fall of Thebes, all of Greece once again submitted to Macedon. For the first time, Alexander's rear was secure. Nothing stood between him and his father's dream. He looked east. Beyond the Aegean Sea lay the greatest empire on earth, the Persian Empire. In the next episode, Alexander would set foot in Asia and begin the greatest military campaign in history.